Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming to our podcast. Love you so much. Thank you so much. It's me, I'm Bob, and Will.
This guy.
How you doing?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. We got a show tonight. It's a show tonight.
Got a show tonight. Woo!
Yeah, baby.
Boy, how did we have a show tonight? Oh boy, more Switch 2 news.
Yes.
Because everyone's milking this for all that it's worth.
Yes.
Including us.
Yeah, of course we are.
It's all anybody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Every time I stream in the past 2 weeks, people just got something to say. It's usually the same like 4 things over and over again.
But like every day we get like one more interesting thing about the Switch 2 and like Switch 2 games and things like that. And
there's a lot to talk about with those little things.
Yeah. And to be honest, like it's not like there's anything else going on. There's 2 main stories going on in the video game industry right now. Switch 2 news and tariffs. And we're going to be covering both today because of course we are. Also, Ubisoft hates you and doesn't think you own your games. They're going to come knock on your door and just rob you blind.
Ubisoft hasn't done anything right in a long time.
Even when they do something moderately right, like say a Star Wars Outlaws or an Assassin or a Prince of Persia, the good one. They find a way to mess it up.
I liked Assassin's Creed, and then I stopped playing it.
I've been hearing
the story is not good.
It's selling well. It's selling very well.
It's
Assassin's Creed, but yeah, I'm hearing that like people are playing it, they're enjoying it, but then they fall off. Like immediately.
I'm falling off pretty much immediately. I understand exactly where the game's going, and I'm like, I don't need this.
Right.
Anyway, where are we at? Those are all the things we need to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, the title of this is "Where will you be getting your Switch 2 from?"
Mm-hmm.
That is in regards to the country, but also, what do I want to say? We don't know when Nintendo will have their pre-orders up here in America.
No, they still have not said.
Not said, but they have said where in Canada. You know what? Why don't we just talk about that as right off the bat, because that's the title of the stream.
All right, you don't want to do the free games you're going to get if you're subscribed?
We'll do that immediately after.
Okay.
About that.
Okay. We'll just go right into talking about
Canada. Was roped in with us.
Yes.
They delayed the Nintendo pre-orders.
Yeah.
But they're free from the shackles of the United States.
They're unofficially free. While we still have no confirmation from the company itself, reliable leaker Billy Coon shared on Blue Sky that they're seeing some Canadian retailers list pre-orders for April 23rd, 2025. That is next Wednesday, and that is for both the Switch 2 and the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World bundle. Obviously, the dates are subject to change, and considering this is coming from a Canadian retailer, it maybe doesn't apply to the US. There is no mention of a price increase either, though it's impossible to know if Nintendo is leaving the price alone at this moment.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, April 23rd, Canadian retailers. That could include North America.
It could include North America, but there still might be the possibility that Nintendo opens it up to Canada, but not the United States.
Yes, I think that is most likely. Also, I'm not 100% taking this as truth, because it's just a rumor from retailers, and retailers. Well, we have Costco here on our board.
Yeah,
on our board of shame. They thought the price was going to be $400, and they were wrong.
Yeah.
So, actually, well, I think the price was written as $450. And we translated it to 400.
Yeah, because it was in Canadian dollars.
Yeah, so. Maybe it was in American dollars. But anyway, yeah, those are just what retailers are going to sell it for. So
yeah, I
mean, when retailers are going to start selling the pre-orders. So we don't know when Nintendo themselves are going to do the pre-orders. I thought Nintendo would do it before, but I don't know. We don't know. But that's just a little clue on when you might be able to get your hands on a Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where? Who knows? I am gonna do my best. I'm gonna see if Nintendo will give it to me. I mean, I did the thing. I did the thing with the account.
Okay.
You can't do it because I'm the guy who pays for it. So I registered the account to try to get a Switch 2 from them.
Right.
Then whatever other retailers put it up, I'll see. I don't know. I want to get it as quickly as possible.
I mean, Nintendo, through their website, even if you do go through all their rigmarole, their pre-orders still don't open up until May. At least that was the original plan. So it's very possible they're going to stick to that. Because that gives them enough time to like figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. So. Chris Mack in the chat just gave me a tweet from Jake Randall. Jake Randall is a YouTuber who live streams himself buying consoles, or just like where the console, like when are these consoles going to be in stock, basically. New leaks are now suggesting a potential April 21st Switch 2 pre-order date for the US, which oddly differs from the April 23rd Canada date. I would say keep it all in mind and watch out for the updates. This is also from Billy Coon. This is a quote tweet from Billy Coon. It says, USA, through some US retailers have found conflicting data for pre-order start date on Nintendo Switch hardware. Switch 2 consoles, April 21st or April 30th, depending on retailer. Okay, so it's going to be a slow rollout.
Right.
I wonder what restrictions they have. Like, what is the purpose of doing it on different days?
I don't know. Probably just whatever, like, deals with retailers, I guess.
For accessories like 2 Pro controller, April 30th. Okay. So your answer for when you will get a Switch 2 is who knows? We have no idea. April 21st is next Monday.
Right.
So Monday or Wednesday, take both days off work.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
The release date, as far as we know, June 6th, 5th. The actual release date has not changed. So if you want to be like that one guy and camp out in front of the Nintendo store in New York for 2 months, you could do that. But
the new Alex C&D. Alex C&D was the old guy who did it.
Yeah.
And now there's a new guy.
Got it. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Alex did 1 month. This guy's doing 2 months.
Yeah.
Showing him up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you got it, man. You got to go big or go home. That's what we say.
That's true.
So if you want to wait till June, try your luck at your local Target. You can try that. But
who's got the money to sit in the most expensive part of Manhattan for 2 months straight?
I'll tell you who doesn't. Me.
Anyway, so Monday or Wednesday, or maybe not.
Yeah, or maybe not at all. Or maybe it'll never come to this country at all.
True.
The rate things are going.
Well, it's a month and a half away for when this thing will be in our hands. So we will have to see. I'm going to try to get it from Nintendo. If you want that, you might have missed the boat already for the Nintendo.
Probably. Thing. I mean, like I've said, I wasn't planning on getting it this year anyway. So I'm not I'm not totally like upset about it. But who knows? Like in a year from now, things might be completely this, and I will regret it because it'll be like $700. Okay.
The website is still up. It seems to go to Nintendo. The website itself, the register your interest to buy from Nintendo Store. I already registered my interest on April 3rd. I registered for the Mario Kart World one. I feel like you might have a better chance if you register for the one that doesn't include Mario Kart. Because I bet nobody wants that one.
Right.
Because you save, well, you're not saving money, but you're if you're going to get Mario Kart anyway, then you are saving $30. Yeah. So, anyway. There you go. I hope that's true. I hope we get pre-orders soon so we know what the hell's going on with this thing.
Yeah.
I'll keep my ear open on Monday. It's possible they just launch it without saying anything.
That's true.
Anyway, why don't you tell me about the new games you can get with your Nintendo Switch Online?
If you are subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack, you're getting some Sega Genesis games, baby.
Only the best Sega Genesis games, right?
Like Super Thunderblade, E-SWAT City Under Siege, and an actual good one, Streets of Rage, the first one.
Yay. Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage is
good.
Good ass
we're
game.
Cool with that.
Yeah. Good game. Great beat 'em up. Classic music. Yes, the second one is technically better, but the first one is a solid ass game.
Thunderblade, I have no idea.
Yeah, it looks like
it looks game. It looks bad.
It does.
E-SWAT, I kind of want to play. This looks like a shitty Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Shinobi, I mean Shinobi.
Yeah, like a robot-centric shooter-focused Shinobi. Yeah, that one
I'm
actually
interested in this. I want to.
I mean, like, eSWAT and Thunderblade, those are more like, the arcade type games that like Sega was making before they did like more traditional home console games. So those are probably like, super monotonous, super difficult. Whereas Streets of Rage is more like what we know today as like a home video game. So, yeah. At least just play Streets of Rage.
That requires the Nintendo Switch Online expansion
Pass. Yes.
pack. Expansion pack.
Get it? Because it's the Nintendo 64 expansion pack.
Yes. Oh, yes. Hey, thank you to Lorian for the 19 months. Hey, Wolf Bros, happy 26th anniversary. Okay. I'm hyped and ready for this new Switch, even if my pockets are going to hurt. Yes.
Yeah.
I am lucky that I have a reserve of console money. I have to be like, this little money is for all the dumb shit I need to buy. And the Nintendo Switch price, even if they raise it a little bit, falls within the range of that, because some of these consoles that I buy for this dumb YouTube channel go up to, a couple hundred, like almost $1,000.
Yeah.
Anyway, cost of doing business. Illmaster, thanks for the 14 months. I would probably go directly to Nintendo for the 2. Would you go online at the store in New York, and would you do it for 2 months?
Yeah. That's the real question.
Gutter is a tool. Thank you for the 30 months. Mobic, thanks for the Prime. Grunting Sundew, thanks for the Prime. Snake Eater, thanks for the 100 bits. Hey, I asked Bob about tax advice with YouTube monetization. I tried to change and spice up the conversation away from Switch 2. What is the tax advice?
Here's some tax advice. If you don't pay it,
you don't have, it's optional.
Yeah, if you don't pay it, they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
You can just not pay your taxes.
This is legal.
Yes. Please pay your taxes. You will go to jail.
You just kept saying, hey, I asked Bob about tax advice. You didn't actually ask me about tax advice. I'm looking at your chat history. You're making shit up. Anyway. Mr. Game and Tech, thanks for the 12 months. Now I can't get out of his chat history. Go away. Anyway. What's next for news? More.
He was talking about the previous stream. He was asking for tax advice.
Well.
All right. More news if we want. Do we still want to talk about the Switch 2 stuff? Get it out of the way. Okay. Why don't we talk about how Nintendo is stockpiling Switch 2s.
Oh, yeah, baby.
As Nintendo navigates Trump's tariffs, the company might already have over 1 million Switch 2s in the United States already. Bloomberg says Nintendo is focusing most of its Switch 2 shipments on the U.S. This includes sending over 700,000 units from Vietnam to the U.S. in February and 383,000 units the month before. It's not clear if the shipments only include Switch 2 consoles, but Bloomberg says customs data from Vietnam signals that Nintendo can build a stockpile of millions of consoles in time for the Switch 2's June 5th launch. It's June 5th, everybody. We figured it out. Nintendo is also expected to increase shipments as much as possible after Trump hit pause on most of his reciprocal tariffs for 90 days. As a result, Vietnam and Cambodia, where much of Nintendo's manufacturing occurs, will only face a 10% tariff rather than 40% plus rates.
I'm glad they put reciprocal tariffs in quotes.
Yes, because
that is not what they are.
Nobody knows what that means.
They're not reciprocal tariffs.
Yes.
That is just what he is calling them.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like they're trying to have as much in the country as possible, so that they could sell it for the advertised price before
as much in Vietnam as possible.
No, as they're shipping from Vietnam to here.
Yeah, supposedly there are already a lot here.
Yes, yeah. And I'm guessing that's so that those are consoles that predate all the tariffs, so that they can sell those consoles for what they advertise it for,
right?
Before they have to start increasing costs.
Yeah, that probably wasn't with the foresight that there would be tariffs. That was probably just, when they were going to ship them anyway.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to move some shit around, and they're going to figure out what the price is going to be now with all this shit. But at any given moment, the tariff price could change.
Yeah.
Like it happened with Vietnam.
Mhm.
Like they all of a sudden it was a huge tariff on Vietnam. All of a sudden it was gone.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it might be back, and
Might
then
be
it was
back.
gone again.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Cambodia. Anyway, yeah. Originally, these things were made in China, and then they moved them all to Vietnam to avoid some of these tariffs, and then boom, you can avoid it.
Tariffs.
Make them here in America.
Yeah. You tired of winning?
What else? Forgot what I was getting at.
Okay.
I mean, I've talked about this for we've talked about this on the show a lot, and I've talked about this fucking for what feels like forever.
So since that time, you know, there were tariffs on every country in the world. Now there's only tariffs in China, but not everything coming out of China is getting tariffed. There's exemptions for certain things.
Oh, the consoles.
No.
Right.
Yes. Because consoles are not exempt from tariffs. This is from Gizmodo. The United States tariff circus continues over the weekend with the United States government announcing via the Customs and Border Protection Agency that tariff exclusions for the technology sector that cover devices such as computers and smartphones. But what's not included in the carve-out is video game consoles, which fall under a trade classification for toys, not technology. To make things even more confusing and uncertain, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said Sunday on ABC's This Weekend that separate tariffs for electronics are on the way and are expected to be rolled out in probably a month or two. The electronics on the exemption list released Friday are still subject to a 20% tariff, just not for the moment a total of 145% tariffs on Chinese imports. Similarly, components used in video game consoles are exempt from larger tariffs, but still face 20% tariffs that are applied to all Chinese imports. That number is likely to change per Lutnick's comments regarding the upcoming semiconductor tariffs.
Oh God, semiconductor.
Yeah. So not only like are you going to get hit with the regular tariffs, even if the Switch was exempt from the China tariffs, it could still get hit with the semiconductor tariff.
So, it's a huge mess. There's again, it's very confusing because it changes every day.
Yeah.
It flip-flops all over the place. There are people who are very concerned because they ordered a bunch of stuff for their business and it's coming. And 100 and what was it?
45.
145%.
Yeah.
Is 2.5 times.
Yeah.
It's like a lot. 3 times? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a fucking lot of money. So if you buy like $30,000 worth of goods, now all of a sudden it's $80,000 worth of goods, and that could be the difference between all of your life savings, or just a portion for your business.
Yeah.
But I don't know if any of this has taken into effect yet or what, because some of the product has made it to our shores, and there were like glitches that made it so nobody was paying any tariffs.
Yeah.
It's unclear when this will come up. It seems like the people who have gotten the shipments of stuff, it ends up being fine. I don't know. I ordered $300 worth of PCBs, and it ends up being the same price that it was months ago when I ordered it.
Yeah.
So I still don't know when this is going to happen.
I pre-ordered new G.I. Joe figures today. On Amazon, they're still $24.99, the regular retail price. On Entertainment Earth, they're $31.99. Same toy. So I think Amazon is eating the cost of tariffs for certain things, but I guess Entertainment Earth, since they're not a big enough company, they're not. And then you look at McFarlane Toys, for their DC figures, they had flat out come out and said, we've had to raise the price of these because of the tariffs.
I mean, are they raising the price preemptively?
I mean,
I don't blame them if they are, because they're being told it's going to be more money.
I mean, action figures are all made in China. So like,
these are pre-orders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time it comes out, they're saying these are going to be the price.
Right.
So by the time it comes out, that makes sense. They're preemptively saying it's going to be this much.
Right.
And Nintendo's doing the same thing. We're going to have a console coming out.
Right.
When that comes out, you're telling me there's going to be tariffs. We're going to have to charge more money.
Right.
And then what if that time comes around and then the tariffs don't happen?
Yeah. Or what if the tariffs do happen and you already bought the thing for $450? Are you now going to have to pay an additional however much to compensate for the tariffs?
Or what if they raise the price of tariffs?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's the uncertainty that is the one of the problems.
Yeah.
Not even so much the fact that they're even doing it. It's like the fact that they're threatening to do it.
They're threatening to do it.
Ruining businesses here.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's a fucking mess. And again, I still don't know if it's even ever going to happen.
Well, I mean.
These are just threats because he's trying to work out some deals.
Yeah. It's the art of the deal.
It's the art of the deal. You just threaten and ruin our own businesses.
Yes.
And make everybody here scared so that you can get them to buy more American products.
I mean, we don't have to like go into it, but I did put an article in the Keep that in addition to all the stuff happening with the Switch 2, these tariffs are having a dramatic effect on your bread and butter, retro handheld consoles.
No! This was inevitable.
Yeah.
These retro handhelds are already very cheap.
Yeah.
Some of the best ones are like $60, $70. So I understand.
Yeah.
I kind of understand a little bit.
Also, too, like a lot of them do fly into like the de minimis loophole
because they're so cheap.
Because they're so cheap. Yeah. So like, once that gets closed,
I thought you were gonna say a lot of these fall under being illegal because they have a lot of copyright.
No,
material.
they're illegal. They're only illegal when you put the ROMs on them.
Yes, that's the. I was waiting for that to be the thing that shuts it all down.
Honestly, like it says in the article that like this current administration does not care about video games so much because they are classified as toys. However, Apple is a big concern because they're the largest tech company in the planet. So if Apple can like skirt around some of these things, maybe it could benefit other tech companies.
Well, part of the way Apple is skirting around it is they are just shoving all of their iPhones onto planes.
Yes.
So I don't see Anbernick doing that.
No.
Someone's gonna strap a bunch of at 35XX SPs on under their shirt, try to go through TSA. Yeah. So retro handhelds are going to start to be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there aren't many good ones coming out. We have the Retroid Pocket Classic, which seems pretty good.
No, yeah.
I think that's coming out pretty soon. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that looks any good. There's an Anbernick coming out that's big, and it looks to be like it's gonna be like $200 or $50 or something. But like I'd rather get a Retroid for that price. So I don't know. There are some Aya Neos I have pre-ordered. What the hell's gonna happen with that? Those I think come out of Hong Kong.
Okay.
Which is
owned by China.
Well, yeah, depending on who you ask.
You're thinking of Tibet.
No, Hong Kong. Well, Hong Kong is part of China, but they don't like it. They don't like being part of China. No. Taiwan is they want their freedom from China.
Is it Taiwan or is it?
As far as I know,
because I know Tibet. China says they own, even though I don't think they actually own Tibet. I
think that's Taiwan. To the existing controversy over the status of Taiwan and Chinese legitimacy question, they are also not defined as diplomatic relations.
It is Taiwan. Okay. Then why am I thinking of Tibet?
I remember there was like I remember seeing a protest in Chinatown.
Right.
For that. China
needs to chill.
They want it all.
Yeah.
They need to chill, and the only way to make them chill is to give them 146% carry.
Yes. What if we kill Winnie the Pooh? Would that help?
The character.
Just
to be clear.
Yes.
That might make him happier.
Yeah.
The guy.
Yeah.
The guy.
The guy.
Winnie the Pooh, the guy. Might be happier if we kill Winnie the Pooh, the character. This is going great so far.
Yeah. What a show. This is exactly what you tune in for.
So, surprise, there's a lot of uncertainty about how much all this shit is going to cost, which directly affects me because I buy all of it.
Yes.
And I'm not going to stop. So,
on that note, this doesn't affect you. because it's not in this country, shockingly.
Okay.
But Sony announced, with a backdrop of changing economic environments, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made the tough decision to raise the recommended retail price of the PlayStation 5 consoles in select markets in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. The updated PS5 prices are effective
right?
starting April 14th. Yeah.
They've done this before.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes.
Wow.
This is for the PS5 and the disc drive that you can buy separately is increasing.
Sony has made that. This was from Edward, right, in the chat.
No, this was in the keep. Yeah.
Edward also linked it.
Yeah.
Sony said it made a tough decision to raise prices. A backdrop of changing economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates. So that seems to not be about tariffs. Global financial and currency markets have been volatile since U.S. President Donald Trump announced so-called reciprocal. Okay, so indirectly because of the reciprocal
it's indirectly related to the tariffs. Yeah,
on more than 180 countries earlier this month. Since then, Trump has reduced some levies to allow time for negotiations and has exempted certain products like smartphones.
Yeah.
Then why are they on the plane then? What a goddamn disaster. I just want to know how much I'm going to be paying for my Switch and when I'm going to get it. That's all I want.
You're definitely getting it June 5th. The release date has not changed.
The release date hasn't changed. I'm still not. I still
don't
bet
think
all of my money on
it.
It's weird because the euro is getting more and more valuable versus the dollar, so the PS5 should get cheaper in euro. I don't know how this works.
Yeah. We're not math people.
I don't know. I mean, I imagine the shifting economy here is gonna fuck up the whole world.
Yeah,
but most of this stuff is made overseas, and if you're shipping it from the east to the east, then it should be fine. But who knows? Again, they have raised the price already in Australia and New Zealand. Is that the only place?
Australia, New Zealand, Europe.
Oh, Europe.
Africa.
The PlayStation 5 didn't change price here at all.
Yeah.
But it changed price everywhere else in the world. And then they did it again.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why they're not raising it here. They've raised it twice everywhere else.
I genuinely don't know.
Very strange.
I mean, technically they raised it when they changed the price of the discless PS5. And the PS5 Pro is, still expensive.
Do they think we're going to riot? Do they think, there'll be turmoil?
Maybe.
That's...
Are
they afraid of us?
Clearly, they shouldn't. Clearly, they shouldn't be. We are not a serious country.
Maybe that's the move. We should scare everybody into keeping all the prices the same.
Well, we tried to scare everybody with tariffs, and look how that turned out.
That's true. Anyway, Mr. Game and Tech, thanks for the 12 months. I think I said that already. What a great podcast has been. Leave a like on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Is that it? I think that's it for the tariffs.
That's it for the tariff stuff.
Okay.
We can talk about we have other Switch 2 related news.
We do. But you know what?
Backlog! 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 Backlog!
Hey man, it's Backlog. Will, what's the Backlog?
Backlog is a segment of the WULFF Den Podcast where we go through our entire video game collection of 982 games. I added one because it was my birthday. I had money to spend. And we'll pick one at random and talk about it regardless of whether or not we've played it.
518.
518. Let's see. The original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the PlayStation.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1.
Yes. Not the best version of this game. The Dreamcast version of the best version of this game. But still.
Why?
Because better graphics, smoother frame rate.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Let's Play from World of Long Plays, and it is only 37 minutes long. Why is that?
I mean, it's not a long game. What is it, like 9 levels each 2 minutes? You can bang that out.
I think he hits the credits. Yeah, he hits the credits.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was a great game. It was very revolutionary at the time. It got us into skateboarding.
Got a lot of people in skateboarding.
Got the whole world.
It's the one that started it all.
It is not the definitive Tony Hawk though. This started everything, but and it felt good at the time, but we didn't know how bad it was until 2 came out.
Yeah.
2 came out and it just added the manual, and we were like, this is the best thing.
It's 100% a Sonic 1, Sonic 2 situation. Like Sonic 1's fine, good game, whatever. Sonic 2, better game, added the spin dash, and now you can't play Sonic game without the spin dash. You can't play Tony Hawk game without the manual anymore. If you try to do it now, like if you play Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 and you try to play the Tony Hawk 1 levels without the manual, like it breaks your brain.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like it needs to be there.
Yeah, in the remake, they added the manual back into it, right? Yeah, that's one of those things. And they do the same thing with Sonic. They put the spin when they re-release Sonic 1, they put the spin dash.
Yeah.
It's a necessary inclusion. That being said, still a very good game. The graphics look fucking rough, but it's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, it's a PS1 game. I mean, for a PS1 game, it does it's not that bad graphically.
Why do we have the PS1 version?
Because a buddy of mine who was getting rid of his PlayStation 2 gave it to me.
Oh.
We also have the Dreamcast version of this game.
We played it on the
N64. Yeah, because we were N64 kids. We used to rent that one.
That is probably the worst version, right?
You know, I guess in the grand scheme of things, but that still wasn't a bad version.
Yeah.
Because it like that was when like they came out at around the same time, so like they were kind of made in tandem with each other. The N64 version though, like the soundtrack is really weird. It's not all the songs. The songs that are in there are either looped or there's no lyrics to it. So some classic Tony Hawk songs like Jerry's Was a Race Car Driver by Primus, Police Truck by the Dead Kennedys, no lyrics.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But now that you mentioned it, I remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great and I loved it at the time. It is not, I would go back and try it, but I would say Tony Hawk 2 is the place to start.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be tough to go back and try it because like it's not available digitally technically. You can get the 1 and 2 remake and just play the Tony Hawk 1 levels. You can set in the options menu of Tony Hawk's 1 and 2, you can set the controls to Tony Hawk 1 controls. So like you just can't hit manuals and reverts and like all the other like special moves you can do. But even still, like with that, like from back here, this was 1999 and it still felt as snappy and fluid and like responsive as it does today. Like all the blueprints and the framework was like there from the beginning. It's amazing like how close Neversoft got on their first try.
Yeah.
To like what we know Tony Hawk to be.
And this got like the whole world into the world of skateboarding.
Yeah.
Because of this that I was like, buying skateboards, hanging out with my friends, skateboarding out on the streets and being the little hood rats.
Yeah, it's because that's because of this game. Like half the bands I listen to are from this game.
This was a huge cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, if anything, it gets props for that.
Yeah, 100%. What more can you say about this game in particular?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you could say.
Okay.
And thanks for watching the Backlog. No, I love this game.
Yeah, good game.
But I would still recommend get it in any other way other than the original. Like if you want to play it, either play the remake or just start with 2.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the Backlog. We're going to continue our podcast.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This and CKY made a lot of kids want to skate. I was going to mention CKY. It was both at the same time.
So CKY or Jackass? Because
Jackass came out and was mainstream, and then it made everybody go back and watch
CKY. Yeah.
So anyway, next news. We're gonna keep talking about Switch stuff here.
Yes. We'll never be done talking about Switch stuff.
No. So let's talk about Switch 2 edition. Physical Switch 2 edition.
Yes. So there's been some controversy over this. We didn't know if the physical edition of Switch 2 game, the physical Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games, so Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Metroid Prime 4, are those just regular Switch 1 games on cart, and then you get a DLC code for everything else? Is everything on cart? It wasn't clear, but now we know. This is an official statement from Nintendo. Physical versions of Nintendo Switch 2 edition games will include the original Nintendo Switch game and its upgrade pack, all on the same game card.
Okay.
They are exclusively Nintendo Switch 2 game cards with no download code. Alternatively, some publishers may release Switch 2 edition games as download codes in physical packaging with no game card. So in terms of like the Nintendo made ones, they're all on the card.
That's interesting because they made it seem like the game code thing wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I think
but that, apparently the door is still open.
The door is still open, but I think that's more for third parties. Like if they don't want to spend the money on making like a Switch 2 card.
But the download cards, what do they call them? The card where it downloads everything.
Yeah, keys.
The game keys.
Yeah.
The game keys seemed like a way for third parties to get their games onto the Switch without having to do the code thing.
Yeah.
So now it seems like it's up to the publisher. Some cheap publishers are not going to use the game keys.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems like a good workaround for still having your game be something you could sell or use like it's physical.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, okay, there's some more clarification there.
Yeah.
Did you find an article about the notch?
No.
Here, I'll just pull up my Twitter quick.
Okay.
Apparently, I don't know where this is from, but there's a picture here. This is from Nintendo, confirmed. There is a notch on the Switch 2 cartridge, and this doesn't really make any sense. This is from the game. This is from the game.
Welcome Tour.
Welcome Tour, yeah.
Interesting.
It's from the Switch 2 Discord. Mine was pinned. The image you have seems edited as it didn't appear in that way in the game. What do you mean? All right, well, anyway, this screenshot says this is how it tells the difference between Switch 2 game cards and Switch 1 game cards. So apparently there is a little tiny notch in the bottom. So if you look at the back of the card, the cart that has the pins on the bottom.
Yeah.
The bottom right, there is a little notch on the Switch 2 version.
Yes.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense. Because if there's a notch and there's something that would prevent... If it didn't have the notch, you would think there'd be something that prevents it from going in. And the Switch 1 version doesn't have a notch. So it makes it seem like a Switch 1 cartridge wouldn't go in to a Switch 2?
So this is reminding me of a Game Boy Advance can play original Game Boy games.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that worked was when you put an original Game Boy game into a Game Boy Advance, it hits a switch in the system to switch it to Game Boy mode.
Okay.
So
that's weird.
Feels like something along those lines. Well, we know that it is the Switch 2 plays Switch 1 games via a translation layer.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a physical like, for lack of a better word, the switch. There's a physical switch inside the Switch. Yo, dog, I heard you like switches. That when you put in a Switch 1 card, it activates the translation layer, or it knows to activate the translation layer.
That is so weird.
I know.
Because all of the backwards compatible games, it needs to like do something,
right?
Because it needs to have a translation layer. So I would assume that there'd be a checklist, like,
unless
is this one of these
that
games?
Notch is a way to prevent it from working in the Switch 1.
So how would that work? Because there is no notch on the Switch 1. There's more material on the Switch 1. That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like it's to prevent Switch 1 games from going into a Switch 2, but we know that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think you're onto something with the hitting a physical button on the inside. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It should be the other way around.
Yeah.
The notch should be on the Switch 1 version.
Yeah.
I always, in my head, I figured it would be like the 3DS. So there'd be an actual like notch sticking out the side, like a knot sticking out the side.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case here. So that's that makes the most sense if it would hit like a physical.
Edward Bova says apparently this is explained in the Ask the Developer Volume 16, Nintendo Switch 2 Part 4.
Edward Bova has done his homework.
Clearly, somebody's got to on this show.
This is very long. Cart?
Card. They're called cards.
Players could swap game cartridges to play a variety. Card. Nope. I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Here are the notches in the Switch 1. While you look through that.
Okay.
Brayden with the 14 Canadian dollars. Congrats, Bob. You are the best long-haired tech YouTuber that lives in New York that does a podcast with a cool guy who is also your brother. You guys are my goats. Oh my god, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Glad I made the list. Glad I made it to number 1 on it. Edward, do you know what they say?
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe the third is the charm now. Okay, I don't know what to say. I'm in the car and my girlfriend driving me into New York City right now. What should I do tomorrow? You should go to Mom Man. Good coffee place. It's by the Nintendo store. Then you can go to the Nintendo store and you can say hi to the new Alex C and D. You forgot to say Bob is the best looking tech guy in New York as well. Okay. No, we don't have to keep going with this joke, guys. The Petrone, thanks for the subscription. Yo, guy, thanks for making a great podcast. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Edward says, well, according to the article and Nintendo Life, who reread the article, is unlike the Nintendo Wii, which had a recreation of the Gen 2 GameCube built into the Wii, the Switch 2 has no original. Yeah, no, we know that part.
Yeah.
That doesn't answer why there's a notch.
Does this mean that the Switch and the Switch 2 aren't compatible at a hardware level? Exactly. This time we decided to take a challenge with using new technology to run Switch games. If we tried to use technology like software emulation, we'd have to run Switch 2 at full capacity, but that would mean the battery wouldn't last so long.
I made a YouTube short on this. There's nothing in there about a notch.
Yeah.
I read all that already.
Yeah.
I would have known if there was a notch. It seems like we don't know what the fucking notch is for.
Right.
I feel comfortable saying that unless somebody has any actual information. But I like your theory that it hits a button.
Right.
If that's what it was like on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Because you want to prevent Switch 2 games from going to the Switch 1. You wouldn't want to do it the other way around.
Yeah.
But in my head, I would figure there would be like a list of games that like the Switch would check through. Like you put a Switch 1 game and a Switch 2, it'll be like, is it one of these games?
Yeah.
It is. Okay, well, we need to run this type of we need to run it like this in our translation layer, you know? It needs to be compatible in some way. Like when you download a game on the Steam Deck, like it needs to do some shit. You know, it needs to figure out which Proton is going to. There's like a generic version. There's like a generic one, and it usually works fine, but it still needs to know what to do. It needs to update itself. So the Switch 2 will do that for Switch 1 game.
Right.
Anyway, I wonder, other than the MIG Switch, was there another dumper? There is like an open source one, but it's weird. They like wanted Bitcoin for you to buy it, and that seemed weird. MIG Switch claims that it will work on the Switch 2.
Okay.
I don't know how that would work or what that means. I'll try it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
A shot.
A lot of people are taking this to mean the Switch 2 is doing a translation patch. Yes, that is not relevant to what we're talking about. All right. Next, listen, I'm sick of talking about the Switch 2. It's time we move on to the Switch 3 already.
Yeah, that's right. Move aside, Grandma. Nintendo has spent the last few weeks providing a ton of information on the Switch 2, but I'm sad to say that's old news, Daddy-O. The techie businessy types of the world are already looking ahead to the Switch 3. Baby, buckle up. That's all in article. While sharing his insight on the current strength of Intel Corporation stock, Keybot Capital Markets senior research analyst John Vinn shared a small and they mean very brief tidbit about Intel potentially securing a contract to work on the next Nintendo console. We believe Intel has won the GPU gaming socket for the Nintendo Switch 3 on 18A.
What?
Vin said, referring to the company's much-touted 18A semiconductor manufacturing. An Intel spokesperson declined to comment. Nintendo did not immediately respond.
What?
That's fucking it! That's all they've got to go on.
That doesn't make any sense for so many reasons.
Look, man, we gotta start. Switch 2 is old news. We gotta start talking about the Switch 3. Switch 3 is coming out next year, baby. This article says it.
They wouldn't. It has to be if this was even true, it has to be the next Switch, because it can't be like an iteration of the Switch 2, because it's a completely different chip. Intel isn't winning anything in the GPU market.
Intel isn't winning anything, period.
Intel is not. We can't even use them for the podcast. I had to switch the fucking GPU out because it was fucking up the podcast. That again, the new MSI Claw.
Yeah.
The Intel GPU is actually very nice. It's actually very good.
Right.
I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if Intel has a GPU that would be very nice for a new Switch. Also, the MSI Claw is quiet and it is cool. It's nice. There's a lot. I could see that translating very well. But we're already talking about Switch 3. I think that the Switch 2 didn't even hit development for a bit after the Switch 1 came out.
Probably not. No.
These things usually are in development for a really long time, but I don't think they're even thinking about that right now.
According to Intel Story Labs director Krista Vasquez, the Intel 18A chip-making process combines innovative transistors with industry-first architecture to provide jumps in performance, density, and power efficiency while paving the way for continued future advances. Sounds impressive.
I wouldn't put it past Intel to have something that would be very nice for a next Nintendo Switch console. Because Nintendo always likes to use old shit anyway. So getting something that is currently available right now for something 8 years down the line, I think that they could probably do something like that. But I don't think they're working out chip deals this far in advance, especially with how crazy the market is right now.
Absolutely not.
Hard.
No,
That's such a weird thing to say.
This is just a guy who 100% wants to get his word in.
Who was he talking to?
I don't even know.
It's a research analyst.
Yeah.
We believe Intel has won the GPU. All right, I think this guy's just talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
They probably had a very small conversation.
Yeah.
And Intel's like, I think we're gonna secure it.
Yeah.
And that's something that they're very excited about, but they don't know.
No.
They have no idea. Anyway. I think that Intel has a chance that they could make something really cool, but I don't think Nintendo gives a fuck right now. All right, more Nintendo stuff. Switch 2 Zelda games let you repair gear in a weird way.
Yes. I hate this. As spotted in a recent Nintendo Treehouse live stream by YouTuber Zeltech, the Zelda Notes app, a mobile companion app exclusive to the Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, has a daily bonus feature. When a user opens this up, they can roll for a number of in-game bonuses, including helpful meal effects, health and stamina recovery, and one labeled equipment repairs.
Okay.
As you all know, there's item degradation and weapon degradation in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and this lets you repair your items.
Is this including the things that you make in the game?
I think this is I think so. It says equipment repairs. So I think that includes weapons and anything that degrades and breaks.
Okay.
For those worried about this completely changing the game, though, there is at least one notable limitation. Chance. The daily bonus uses a roulette wheel to randomly select which bonuses the players gets. So it's not guaranteed to always hand you equipment repair. The bonus is also daily with a built-in timer you'll have to wait on until your next spin. While this may be extremely effective in a pinch, it's unlikely to become a massive game changer.
I mean, you can fucking tap an amiibo and fill up your hearts. So I don't think this is that crazy.
Right.
The app does do some cool stuff. You can share creations on that.
Yeah.
And you could just fucking hit a button and then you just have all the shit in the game, which is pretty cool. that would make it more likely that I would like use other people's like creations in my game.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm booting that game back up.
Mm.
I think there's some cool ideas with the app. I don't hate the idea of a second screen experience. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I just hate the idea of item degradation.
yeah, it happens too quick in that game.
Yeah.
I don't hate it because it forces you to use other stuff. Otherwise, I would just use the best sword. And that's it. But I like having to change my play style. I think that makes the game a little more interesting. But they do break a little too quick.
Yeah.
You should be able to like enchant them or something.
Yeah.
Who's gonna boot up or start playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2? I mean,
A lot of people.
I'm probably gonna buy the enhancement for the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm probably not gonna actually play it. I'm probably gonna just boot it up to look at how different it is, and then that's
Yeah, I mean, you are, but I know like there's a lot of people who are sickos and would replay Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom like on.
Yeah, well, there's people who have thousands of hours in those games. Yeah.
So.
I think that those games are great benchmarks for the Switch 2 because of how well they run on there. And at launch, there's not going to be a lot of games. I mean, there's enough. Like, I'm not complaining. There will be enough. But in terms of games that will give you a good insight into how powerful the hardware is and what you can get out of it, Zelda's one that people probably already have and would only cost a small amount to upgrade. So that'll be a good way to show off your nice new console to your wife.
Yeah.
To justify you spending $500 of your dollars.
Yeah. On an unrelated note, Target just sent me 3 free months of Apple Arcade, which means I can finally fucking play Balatro.
Oh my God. Congrats.
Thanks.
I'm going to play that Blueprints.
Yes, that everybody's like raving about that. I need to try that.
I'll buy it on Steam.
All right. Yeah. Family share.
That's it. Hannah wants to play it too.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's saying it's like one of the greatest games of all time.
I know. I'm hearing like...
Which is what I said about Balatro, and I love Balatro, so let's go, baby.
Let's go. All right.
It's like a puzzle. It's like a
fine.
Myst, like a Myst style puzzle game.
Puzzle games. I'm open for like different types of games.
I am open to a game like that. I am not usually one to be like, ooh, let me do a little puzzle game.
I just finished Sonic and Shadow Generations, so I can finally move on to another Steam Deck game.
Okay.
Maybe Blueprints will be that Steam Deck game.
Anyway, is that all for Switch news? Well, there's one little thing about Reggie here.
Oh yes, good old Reggie. Hold on, I'm distracted by Balatro. It's already begun. I haven't even played the game. Former Nintendo of America's boss and Long Island's own Reggie Fils-Aimé has pointed to the story of Wii packing game Wii Sports in a thinly veiled tweet addressing the controversy surrounding Nintendo's decision to charge for a Switch 2 tutorial game Welcome Tour. Nintendo revealed Switch 2 Welcome Tour during its Nintendo Direct last week. It's a game set to launch alongside the Switch 2 in June. It offers a guided tour of the console itself and video game forum. IGN has confirmed that the Switch 2 Welcome Tour will cost $10 and is digital only. That's significantly cheaper than other Switch 2 games, but IGN has already reported to the complaints from the Nintendo fans that Welcome Tour costs money at all, while saying that it should be a Switch 2 packing game, such as DualSense tech demo Astro's Playroom was with the PlayStation 5. Now, Reggie Fils-Aimé has tweeted 3 clips from IGN's 3-year-old interview with the former Nintendo executive in which he discusses the internal battle he had with the legendary developer Shigeru Miyamoto to get Wii Sports as a free packing game for the hugely successful Wii. In the first clip, Fils-Aimé says it is an understatement to say that Mr. Miyamoto pushed back on the call to make Wii Sports a pack-in. As we know, this was a battle that Fils-Aimé won with Wii Sports bundled with Wii Sports bundled everywhere with the Wii except in Japan.
I didn't know it was except in Japan.
Yeah, except in Japan.
I don't think the Wii would be as successful.
100% no.
Yeah.
And he goes on. The second clip, Fils-Aimé tweeted, pointed to a similar battle to bundle Wii Play with the Wii Remote. In the clip from the interview, Fils-Aimé revealed that he pissed off Miyamoto once again with the suggestion. He was not happy about that either.
I would not have gotten Wii Play.
Nobody would have gotten Wii Play.
I literally only got it because of the remote.
That was the only way to get the remote at the time. So yeah, again, 2-0 to Reggie.
Also, that game kind of sucked.
It does.
Wii Play sucked.
Yeah. Finally, tweeting and the results Visa May clipped out section from the interview in which he revealed that all this was ultimately the right call.
Yeah.
Because
so he's basically alluding to they should pack it.
Yeah. So
I think Reggie's watching the comments about the Switch too. We know you would have packed in Welcome Tour. Yeah, he's not explicitly saying he would.
But he sure is thinking it loudly.
Yeah. $10 is not that much, but significantly less people will play it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason for them to pay that money because it's just a way for you to learn about the system you already have.
Yeah. And again, compared to like they said, Astro's Playroom, Wii Sports, there is history of this sort of thing just being included with the device you're getting. So Nintendo charging you money for it is, at best it's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
At worst, it's like infuriating.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this seems to be a lot of nickel and diming this generation.
Yeah,
even the Switch 1 didn't have this level.
No.
Well, Nintendo's schemes started to get worse and worse as the Switch went on. We started off with free online and stuff. And then they
took that away.
Yeah, then they started to get a little grabby with your money.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I saw an article. I didn't put it in the key, but it brought up a good point. It was on Polygon. Nintendo had a really bad trend on the Switch 1 of like releasing games and then just taking them away from you, like limited time games. Mario 3D All Stars, Mario 35.
There's a Kirby game.
There are Fire Emblem, the NES Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
First time in America. Then that was a limited time thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I know.
That's so stupid.
So don't do that anymore, Nintendo. Bastards.
Will, do you have a game fact for us?
I do, actually. Game fact. The oldest known American review of the original Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
There's only one from Computer Entertainer Magazine in their video game update section.
Okay.
This is from June
1985.
June 1986.
Oh,
they
were late.
It was the first English language review of Super Mario Brothers.
Wow.
And depending on who you ask, the only English language review of Super Mario Brothers for the NES.
I cannot believe that.
I
thought it was popular.
I mean, look, the game was popular, but in terms of like review outlets, think about it. There weren't really any review outlets for video games back in the day.
Yeah, that was a long time.
And this
was arcade time.
Yeah, this is the NES. This is a brand new thing. Mm-hmm. So like there weren't a lot of people reviewing it.
Yeah, it would take a couple more years for the magazines to start doing games.
Yeah. And again, like this was one of the magazines, but it was specifically more for computer gaming and computer software, and that was like more of a niche thing.
I wasn't sentient until Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and that's when we had like magazines and reviews for every single game that came out.
What do you think they gave it?
I mean, it is one of the greatest games of all time. It is my favorite game of all time. So I'm gonna say they gave it an 8 out of 10.
It's out of 4. I should have said that.
3.
3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know we could do halves, but that's very good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I would give it a 10 out of 10, baby. But
I think it's one of those.
Especially at the time. What else? Look at the competition they had.
I think it's one of those instances where like they didn't know what they had at the time.
Yeah. You know but also like there was nothing there.
I know, but like you think about it, like you play this game, you're like, hey, it's pretty good, and then maybe like in hindsight you realize like, oh, like this was actually a watershed moment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can understand like you get an NES and you have like 5 games and one of them's Mario and you're like, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize that every other game sucks.
Right.
Because you happen to have the good one.
Yeah.
I could see that, but like this is a review outlet.
Yeah.
So they should know better.
They should. They gave soccer 4 out of 4.
What? Game sucks. Game facts.
Game facts. That was your...
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you again.
I should have that button so I could just like spring it on you.
How could I give you the button? I would need to. I give you.
Would I get like?
I mean, it's just a keyboard.
Yeah.
It needs to be a keyboard, or
How many Bluetooth keyboards can you hook up to that computer?
I mean, I only have one right now,
Right.
and it's just this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have like a whole fucking keyboard next to you.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Maybe I can do like a USB hub. I could do like the 8-bit do button.
There you go.
Hit the button. USB foot pedal. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're done with Nintendo
Yes. Forever.
forever.
Nintendo is dead.
Let's talk about Ubisoft. Everyone's favorite topic.
Oh, Ubisoft. Ubisoft lawyers have responded to a legal action from players of the defunct racing game The Crew by insisting that those players never owned the game in the first place. The players made their lawsuit to complain about the game being made unplayable when servers were shut down last year, but Ubisoft have now responded to argue that the game was only licensed to those playing, and players should never have expected the game to be usable in perpetuity.
This fucking sucks.
Ubisoft's legal team made the argument in a motion to have the case dismissed as seen by Polygon. The Crew's ordinary intended purpose was to provide consumers with a revocable limited license to access its content pursuant to the unmistakable warnings on the product packaging and Ubisoft's terms of use, reads part of the filing. Plaintiffs receives just that for years, and Ubisoft therefore provided The Crew consistent with and fit for its ordinary advertised purpose. Ubisoft go on to argue that the game being under a non-permanent license was clearly stated on some of its packaging. They also say that the statute of limitations to make this sort of complaint is up, and that the shutdown of the game caused no cognizable injury, and therefore the case should be dismissed by the California District Court, which is looking at it. The plaintiffs make the counter argument that some vouchers for the game had an expiry date of 2099, which implies the statute of limitations is not up.
So there needs to be a concerted effort to make terms and conditions or what do they call it? What was the actual word is they use?
End user license agreement?
Yes, the EULA needs to be not law. It needs no one's reading that, and everyone knows no one reads that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very consumer friendly to put
No.
these types of things in a EULA.
Yeah.
And they're claiming that it's clearly written on the package. So I looked up the package.
Right.
Where the fuck does it say that there's a license to own this game?
Yeah. Is it? No, because that's on the front cover. That's just saying like you need online, right?
It is not in English.
Okay, that doesn't help.
Oh
Wait, that looks like. I mean, it says PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus.
So it probably just says like requires PlayStation Plus.
I should probably find the English. Where was this lawsuit? Because I know that they were.
This is in California.
Okay, because I know people wanted them to be sued in France.
Yes.
Because of the different laws. Okay, I found another one. This is for Xbox One.
Yeah.
Here. This is a direct scan. Best of E3.
Okay.
It requires internet, it says on the bottom.
That's okay.
Game Critics Choice Award. That's all it says on the front. Rated by the ESRB. That's it. So there is nothing on the front that says this is a license on the game. So
at the back.
saying that it's clearly stated is already not true.
Yeah.
As for the back, I don't know, probably in like the fine print somewhere, but that shouldn't be held up. That shouldn't be held up in court.
Yeah.
Additional storage hardware and Xbox Live may be required for setup, some updates and features, including retention of some gameplay settings and information. The Xbox.com for details. Storage requirement subject to change. Unauthorized copying. Reverse engineering. Transmission. Public performance. Rental. Pay for play. Or circumvention of copyright protection is strictly prohibited. And then it just says system requirements. So, no. So they're wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it says terms of use and it gives you a fucking URL to go to.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of whether or not it was written on the packaging, it's not. But like, I think as much attention that we can bring to the fact that like that not just Ubisoft, but all game companies are trying to pull this shit.
Yeah.
Where like you don't own the games that you buy with your money. You know, we argued about that California law where it says like you have to like clearly label if you're selling a license or whatever.
Right.
At least that's like a step forward, because I think if more people were aware of the fact that you were just buying a license and not an actual product,
Yeah,
that would like, you know, make people more aware and maybe not buy the product if they're not going to technically own it.
yeah. I just wish that there were more efforts to protect consumers in this regard, like some sort of reformation of the EULA laws. Like,
yes,
we don't like we're not reading those. Nothing in there should be enforceable in a legal sense.
Yeah.
Also, Ubisoft straight up saying like, we always intended to give you a non-permanent license. Like, what? No, you definitely did not intend that.
Yeah.
So, and no, it's not. It's just straight up not on the box. And if it was, it is definitely not clear. This is just Ubisoft trying to save their ass in court, or their lawyers trying to save their ass in court. So, hopefully it doesn't hold up. And I would imagine that a lawyer would not hold it up.
Yeah. So
the button when you give them money on any digital platform says purchase. It should say license.
Yeah.
Yes. Purchase implies that you are owning it, which yeah.
I think Steam changed it.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of people changing it, but
I mean, like, they're right though. If it's not a purchase, means that like you own it.
Yeah, I mean, there needs to be a shift in the culture. Like, if they change it to license, there needs to be a shift where people are like, I don't like this. Like, I understand some games, like World of Warcraft, like this is an always online game. You are basically paying a license because you can't play that game unless the servers are up. So that makes sense. It makes sense to slap it on there. And as a consumer, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But for a game like The Crew, like a single player game, like I should own this game. Well, The Crew it was mostly online. Right?
It was it required online to play. Yeah. I'm trying to find. I just picked a random game on Steam. It's Aliens Dark Descent. It says add to cart. In the checkout card, it says continue to payment, but there should be somewhere on the page that clearly says this is just a license. This is not.
I remember them saying that. I remember them making that change, or saying that they would make that change.
Right.
Maybe it's only in California.
Maybe
it's only if you have a California account. If you have a Californian Steam account, try to buy something.
Yeah.
Mine still says purchase for my account.
Okay.
Well, are you in California? Let's thank some people, I guess.
Yes.
PJ Man, thanks for the 8 months. The Petrone, thanks for the 2 months. Yo, guy, thanks for making. Oh, I read that already. Thanks for making a great podcast. Thanks, dude. More news. Oh, you read this. Sony increases the prices in some territories.
Yes,
I read that already. I'm gonna put that near the console tariff thing.
Okay.
Doom Collector's Edition.
Yes.
Costs a lot of fucking money.
Yes.
What the hell?
There are physical editions of the iconic shooters Doom and Doom 2 coming out thanks to limited run games. All editions ship with both games, but the highlight is something called the Will It Run edition. This one comes with all kinds of extra goodies, including a game box that actually runs the original Doom. Yes, the box can play Doom. All you have to do is connect a USB controller to the box that has a port for it. It costs $666 in a nod to the devilish source material, and is being kept to a limited run of 666 copies. It comes with the aforementioned screen-enabled game box that runs Doom, but that's just the beginning. The combo pack ships with the soundtrack on a cassette, a certificate of authenticity, and a trading card pack with 5 cards. It also comes with a couple of toys based on one of the franchise's most iconic enemies. There is a detailed 3-inch Cacodemon that connects to a 5-inch base, which looks pretty nifty. There's also a smaller handheld Cacodemon that, you'll never guess, also runs Doom.
Okay, so let me find. So there's 2 things that run Doom on this thing?
Yes, if you buy the Will It Run edition of Doom, which is $666, the game box itself and the little Cacodemon toy both can play Doom.
Oh, so the one that I was seeing was the handheld one.
Yeah.
And then this is the
that's the box.
Okay, okay, I understand. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Mhm.
That makes a lot more sense. I was gonna say this Cacodemon didn't look like a box.
No, that is not the box.
That is very large.
The box?
Yeah. Oh, and you could see the PCB on the inside.
The box has to have a screen in it.
Okay. I was gonna say this better not come in another box.
Well, so it's
but
still,
it has a fold. Like there's like a cover that covers it a little
I
bit,
mean
so.
it is a box.
It's
so
a box.
so it has all the things are in the box, including the physical media for your system of choice.
Right.
Because it's coming out on PS5, Xbox, Switch, and Steam. Steam's obviously won't have a physical media in there, but like Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation, those will have like their respective games media in the box, and it'll include the 2 games plus add-on DLC for the games.
That is a fuck ton of money.
Yes.
And I will not be getting that.
I
don't need another way to play this game.
I know there are crazy people who will buy this for the memes.
Aren't both of these games isn't the source code openly available for both of these games?
Yes.
So, guys, don't buy this. Is so stupid.
Also, like, if you're not tech savvy, you don't know how to like play with source code. This game is on like every device under the sun. Save your
for
money.
like $1.
It's frequently on sale for like $1 each. So,
classic Doom bundle on Steam.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Let's just do 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yes, I was born in 1931. $10.
There you go. Again,
for the 1 and 2 pack.
Frequently on sale.
For a classic Doom, $18? Why? It's more money for the Doom. How about just Doom?
It's confusing because like when they re-release Doom 1 and 2, it's like they re-release those games every year, and it's like every version is like the super updated version, and it replaces the old version. So
$10. It's $10.
Okay.
So, or it's on GitHub. I'm almost positive.
Right.
Did you see they got Doom running on an Apple HDMI adapter? I did see that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This is the last news of the day. Until we ask you questions and then learn more about the news that happened. We reported a few weeks ago about the worst game of all time being re-released.
Yes.
And now it is even worse.
Yes. Big Rigs Over the Road Racing has snaked from the sewers of gaming history and re-released on Steam on April 8th, giving a new generation of players the opportunity to experience one of the worst games of all time. And yet, going by Steam reviews, this version somehow manages to be even worse than the original in completely new ways. The game holds a mostly positive review score on Steam, but browsing the positive reviews reveals a cesspool of ironic memes from those who want to be in on the joke and nothing else. The real truth lies with the thumbs down reviews, the ones that indicate the user refunded Big Rigs after just a few minutes of dealing with mental anguish it inflicts on the players. The most frequently used words to describe Big Rigs in its Steam reviews is sketchy, with many wondering if the game's inexplicably poor performance suggests the presence of a hidden Bitcoin miner or some type of malware. Many also call attention to the strange winning wizard executable that launches alongside the game that apparently unlocks achievements, but also manages to strain high-end GPUs.
Oh, no.
So, it looks like something's going on with Big Rigs.
They somehow did it. They made Big Rigs even worse than it already was. Now the truck jitters violently from movement of any kind, or even just sitting idly, taking the camera that already follows the truck perfectly with it, and it is an offense on the eyes. Epileptic people could die from this, depending on your refresh rate when running the game. Not to mention the shady-looking Winter Wizard just obliterating my RTX 4060 GPU.
The game being awful is one thing, but the release of these are user reviews, but the release of this is apparently sketchy too. Just stay away, and if you really want to experience this for the shits and giggles, just go grab it off Internet Archives.
So, I think the most probable thing
Mhm.
is just that the game is extremely poorly optimized.
Yeah.
Because the game obviously is bad and was made horribly.
Yeah.
And I've seen bad games like run GPUs like crazy. But there is a chance that it is mining Bitcoin and doing something nefarious, like using your GPU usage to create some sort of supercomputer for somebody.
Yeah, and I mean, like as far as I know, the original release did not have a Winter Wizard executable attached to it.
Yeah,
so
that
alone is
that's
like
a little weird.
Sus.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. So don't get it.
Yeah,
don't get that. Don't get that game for the lulz.
Yeah.
That's all the news. 2 of the week. Fuck. God damn it.
Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
Will, did you know you could bully me into making your tweet the tweet of the week? This is from Steve and a bunch of numbers. He says, I live in Australia, so I had to pay $130 to ship your desk mat. First of all, no, you didn't. Just don't buy it. Who would buy that? No one made you do that. You better put this in tweet of the week or I'll spread the rumor that you think the Game Boy Advance is mid. Please don't do that. Please don't do that part.
I have those speakers. They're in my attic.
Hey, at least your desk looks really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice clean desk.
I don't know about $130 good, but it looks pretty good. So obviously shipping to the other side of the world costs a lot of money. If I could have a warehouse in Australia, I would, but I don't sell nearly enough of these to do that.
Yeah.
I don't even think I sold half of them, and I've had this out for over a year, maybe 2 years even.
Yeah.
So, sorry. If you love someone, you'll spend $130, apparently. Seems that way. Anyway, now we'll talk to you guys.
Yes. Starting with people who have comments on last week's WULFF DEN Podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast.
Where are we? Here, Mashmefilth says, having realized that I was most excited for GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online, instead of buying a Switch 2, I might just get something like a Retroid Pocket Flip 2 instead and pocket the rest of my money. Maybe treat myself to a nice coffee. You can get a couple coffees for that price difference. I don't know about a Flip 2. I don't think it looks that good. I think the 5 seems to be the best one right now. But I mean, maybe you just really like the clamshell.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, if all you care about is GameCube games, there are much better ways to play GameCube than getting Nintendo Switch Online and playing 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're gonna have more, but right now there's only 4. You can play every GameCube game on one of these.
Like the Switch 2, like there's gonna be limited in like what they can put on there because like licensing and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
you'll never get everything.
Yeah,
they will. It will be very easy, and they will run great on the Switch 2. But less than half the price of a Switch 2 is some of these handhelds.
Yeah.
Like a Retroid Pocket 5 is like $220.
Yeah.
So and it runs GameCube great. You just got to know how to put the games on there. Ivysaur Plant says, were you guys planning on revisiting the whiteboard of Switch 2 predictions during a podcast or a dedicated video comparing the rumors to what was revealed?
We did
We did at the end of an episode a few weeks ago. We also made it into a YouTube short.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find it if you search around the channel long enough. Lord DC says, happy birthday, Will.
Oh, thanks.
You're late.
Yeah.
Search says, I'm convinced Nintendo doesn't have achievements because it incentivizes players to spend more time with a game after rolling credits instead of just buying the next game.
I don't think that's a concern for them.
No, you want people to spend a lot of time playing your games.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much spending the time playing this game versus buying another game. It's spending the time on this game versus doing your homework or watching Netflix or something.
No, Nintendo knows like people will spend like hours and hours and hours and like, because like think about it. If Breath of the Wild had achievements, you would still be playing that game even after all the achievements because it's that big of a game. You know, people put hours and hours into Smash Brothers and Mario Kart and whatnot, you know, regardless of achievements. So
interesting you say that because Smash Brothers does have achievements. It's the only game that has that has like their own version of achievements. Matt says for the game fact section, you could start with the question, "Are you aware?" Legally distinct, knowledgeable inquiry statement.
That's pretty good.
Get it?
Legally distinct is the best kind
Like,
of
did you
distinct.
know?
Yeah. Are you aware?
Are you
Are you aware?
Are you aware? All right, we're in the chat for a little bit.
Yeah.
What did we forget to talk about? Oh, Chris Mack linked us a article. Apparently, it's while you're checking out on Steam, they will tell you that this is.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
Is Dolphin on Delta or RetroArch or anything else for iPhone yet? Dolphin requires JIT.
Yeah.
And it runs not great without it. So Dolphin is straight up. You can get it on the alt store, but it's jank, and I don't recommend it. What are some GameCube games that haven't been announced that you're most eager to see released on the eShop? Melee. Even though it's N64, I've been waiting for Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Eternal Darkness is probably the big one that I wonder if we'll ever get on Switch Online.
I would jump into that a little bit.
Yeah. Conker's Bad Fur Day, they will, if anything, they'll add it to that N64 mature app that they have, because it was an M-rated game. And I'd imagine they do something similar with GameCube. They'll have like a GameCube mature like sub app so they can add all that stuff, because can't have it all in one.
I would love Rogue Squadron, but I don't see that happening. For a lot of reasons, licensing and because the game is extremely hard to emulate.
I mean, if anyone can get it done, it's Nintendo, you know. But at the same time, I'm surprised like Lucas hasn't like ported those over yet.
Yeah, they had their own little collection.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Melee would be the most exciting one because it will have online, and everybody right now is playing Melee still using emulators with their own sort of online service. So if Nintendo can have an official one, that would be huge for a lot of people. It probably won't run good, but it'll be exciting to see how they handle that. Video shows off how strong the Switch 2 magnetic Joy-Cons are. This is IGN, right? Where
I saw where he's like,
I would never do this. No. I didn't even want to touch it. I'd let Wood do it. I didn't even want to be the guy. I mean, I will do it when I get mine, but like currently that is a priceless thing that he's holding.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy to have that one crack.
Yeah. I mean, they probably wouldn't have let him do that unless they were absolutely sure.
Yeah, the guy let Wood do whatever he wanted. But also I also didn't do it because I was like, oh, I mean, I'm here for 2 hours, of course.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the only opportunity I would have to actually remove the Joy-Con is right in the beginning of the event. So if you go to one of these events, the second you walk in, you see a Switch 2, take the Joy-Con off because you will not get another opportunity to do that the whole rest of the time you're there. Why not a Smash Legacy with all the old ones? I mean, that's fine, but that's probably not what's going to happen.
Yeah. Because like Smash is the type of game where they want you to get like the latest. They don't want you to play the old ones. Although Super Smash Bros. Legacy would be a good name for a Switch 2 version of Smash.
I would be totally fine with just Ultimate getting some updates.
Yeah.
And updated online.
Yeah, finally add Goku.
That too. New characters would be fine too.
Yeah.
I think the game is perfect how it is.
Yeah.
Other than the online is bad.
Yeah.
So just adding characters and updating the online would go crazy. What is everyone playing currently this week? I have a video coming out on Thursday, hopefully, that is the Lenovo Legion Clam. And I've been playing games on that, and I've been enjoying it very much. But I'm going to try Blueprints.
Yeah.
So. What happens when I run the Joy-Con through a demagnetizer? Then you ruin your Switch. Actually, yeah.
Well, it's electromagnets.
So I mean, I think this. I mean, I don't know how magnets work.
Right.
But
nobody does. That's why ICP asks.
The Joy-Con have metal in them.
Yes.
I think the pulling is happening from the inside the Switch.
Yeah.
But if you demagnetize the metal that's in the Joy-Con, does that?
Well,
because that's not the thing that's doing the pulling. That's just metal.
Well, so I'm assuming if you connect it, because both the prongs that are in there is what sends data back and forth. That's not necessarily the magnet. So if you connect a demagnetized Joy-Con, it should still technically work, but it just won't be stable.
Well, it won't hold. It won't
hold.
held in place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a thread on Reddit about using magnets on Hall effect sticks. Currently working on my Will Bob Buy It piece for Too Many Games this year. Is Will going to go this year?
I think I can.
Oh.
So
okay.
We should talk about that. So
we should talk about
yeah.
Will Bob Buy It piece. Too Many Games. Oh, you're making a thing for Too Many Games and you're wondering if I'm gonna buy it from you. That's what
yeah.
What could you guys see from Nintendo with the next AAA Mario release? Think they will lean more into the open world setting that's gotten popular after Breath of the Wild release?
I think it'll be an expansion of what they did with Odyssey. It won't be full open world like Breath of the Wild, but I think it'll be very open for a Mario game.
So I would have said no to an open world Mario game,
Mhm.
but clearly Bowser's Fury was a test to see what an open world Mario would be like, and it was a very successful test. So I think that there is a possibility that the next Mario game is kind of open. I have a 3-month Xbox Game Pass for Will if he wants it. I tweeted you to see if he has Twitter. He has Blue Sky.
I mean, I have a Twitter, so like I will go on it for you, but for future, I am on Blue Sky with the cool kids.
Okay.
Thank you, by the way.
Trying to come up with a vagina joke for the Lenovo Legion clam. You don't need to. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's already done. You don't need to take it any further. Video shows up. Okay, I read that. The Switch 2 magnets.
Zombie U for Switch 2. I guess I'll save it because I actually had a game fact related to Zombie U.
Oh,
but I guess I'll save it for another.
Okay.
Don't want to overload you with my.
No, we can only take so many game facts at once.
Although I technically gave like a couple of facts this episode. With
you just can't help it.
No, I can't. It's a problem. It's a
facts.
compulsion.
Yeah.
You know, what am I going to do? Talk to my wife about this? You know, if I can't just be there and be like, hey, did you know that Super Mario Brothers 2 was originally called Doki Doki Panic? She'd hit me.
You could. It would just not be good.
It would just be like, okay, that's great. Your son needs a diaper change. You dumb idiot. I'm picturing the gangster robot in Futurama shouting, clams!
Clams.
Clamps.
Clamps.
Clamps. His name is Clamps because he gives him the clamps.
I understand. All right. Guys, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the WULFF DEN Podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/WULFDEN and youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. But if you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. So you can go check us out over there on demand whenever you want. But if you prefer to listen to us rather than watch, you can do that as well because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Audible.com. No matter where you get the show from, though, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us because that helps with the placement on all of those respective platforms.
I'll have a video up on Thursday, hopefully, about the clam, and I will probably stream on Twitch at the same time. I don't know what my next YouTube stream will be. I have no idea. There's nothing happening. There's nothing going on.
I know.
Thanks for being here. Go say hello to AJ. We'll see you later. And also goodbye.
Bye.